Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you all?
Good.
Fantastic, right? Well, you know, this thing about living fearlessly, I think it's something that we all aspire to do all of the time. But sometimes you and I both know that something hits us that is deeper than we've ever experienced before. And we sort of feel like there's nobody. We're lost. And where do we go from here? And this isn't fair. And how did this happen to me? And I wasn't thinking right, or this isn't right, or this isn't done. And how? And it is a complete pulling away of yourself from yourself, right? And you know that there is no one else that can help you but you. And there is no one else. You know that somewhere there's some answers. And then from the very depths of our soul comes that urge within us that says, I am not this. I am not this weakened self that I have made myself to be or somehow is right now. How do I get out of this? How do I go to a deeper depth than I've been before of myself? How do I do all these things that I hear, that when there's a crisis or when there's a problem or when there's a difficulty, just know that this thing has come for good. You see no good anywhere around what has happened. So how is it that you pull yourself out? How is it that we don't go and beg God, what is this all about? What is the world all about? That this has happened, that this is happening to me at this particular time. How do I pull myself out of this? And somewhere, out of the depths, comes that divine urge that will keep on prodding and telling us you can do it. You can pull out of this, and there are solutions to this. And it may be a dim, dim light, but somewhere it calls us. And that is the reason that has happened. It's hard to understand that until we get the bigger picture, until we know that we are on a soul's journey. We aren't here just for this one lifetime. We have come many lifetimes, and we have more to go. But this is a soul's journey toward discovering ourselves, for self-realization and discovering all that we are as that perfect idea in the mind of God. You know, it sounds a certain way, but it goes to a deeper level when you really, really, really apply it to yourself. When you apply it to yourself in the deepest depths of crisis or whatever you go through, and that starts to pull you out, and a brand new you starts to be. It's that self that we have to claim. You know, there's all types of prayer. There's the type of prayer of just talking to God. Then there's a type of prayer where we're meditating and communing and feeling the light and the sound and the depths of God. And then there's that prayer where we stop begging God. And we stop asking anybody external of ourselves. And we begin to go deep within our own self. And we begin to ask all those questions that we have been asking other people. And we start asking all those questions, and we know what questions to ask, because who knows you better than you? Who knows the answers that you need better than you? Who knows the soul, the individual soul that you are, and what's in your heart, and what really wants to come out of your heart, and what you wanted to be as a child, and your hopes and your dreams? Who knows that but you? So who can really help you but the you of you? And so that's the soul. That's the individual within yourself. That's the real you that we're always searching to find. searching to be expressed. And that's why, as we come back to certain teachings and we say, this feels like me, this feels like what I feel and what I think, because we know that deep within ourselves, each one of us is such a powerful human being, such a powerful divine being, which makes us a powerful divine being. And a divine being and a human being, that's what we want to do, is to bring that divine self, that spiritual self that we are, and become the Christed one, to give our gift to the world. Because each and every one of us has such a beautiful gift to give. And we can't get it if we're not bold. We can't be meek. We can't say, God, I would like to have a castle, maybe in the desert, maybe in the mountains. Would you get that for me, please? Would you just order it for me, and I'll be around to do so. It's not going to work. But what is going to work is when you find out how to make that castle. You find out the people to get. You find out how it can be. You build the dreams. You build the thoughts about it. You build the vision first. And then you go out and you do the action to get it. And then you say, God, I'm going to have a castle. In the desert, I'm going to have it. And it's going to look like this, and it's going to be like this. And nobody on earth is going to stop me from having that, because I know the way, and I'm going to find the way if I don't know the way. And that's how we get what we want. So, same thing. Fear hits us. And we say, how am I going to handle these things with this fear? We have to take that same principle as if we're building that castle in the desert or in the mountains. And we have to say, this is the way it's done. Fear seems to be overtaking me. And the thing that I fear, I'm creating because I'm thinking about it all the time. And that makes us even more afraid, right? But what we have to do is stop the fear. We have to stop the ideas that are going through our head, and we have to instead replace it with the good. But we can't replace it with just some NIMBY thing. We have to replace it with substance. We have to replace it with that real something that is within each and every one of us, that comes out and it becomes us, becomes the brand new us. That where when we do things, it automatically happens. That we're in the flow, that it seems like we have a whole team with us doing everything with us. And that's the point that we're led to make. And all this starts because at the beginning we had fear. Do you ever notice how things come to you that you have to do in life, or the crisis, just at the time when you've got everything settled? You got everything taken care of. You got the rent paid, and you got the wife, and you got the husband, and you got the kids, and the kids are getting ready for school. Everything seems to be going beautifully. And then, wow, something happens. A crisis. Something big. But that's there for a reason. It doesn't come until we can handle it. That comes in our soul's journey. So it's a needed lesson. It's a necessary lesson. It's something that we have to do. So as we learn to look upon these things as challenges, as we learn to look, when this thing happens and I solve this thing, then I will be able to be the person that I really wanted to be all along. And I will bless this challenge, this crisis that came into my life, and I will say that this is here for me to grow, to expand, to become greater than I am. And the greater the problem, the difficulty, the greater the woman, the greater the man that you are becoming. And then it becomes exciting for you. It becomes an adventure. It takes the so-called boredom and sameness out, and you pull forth and become all that you can be. Now, this can happen in smaller ways, and this can happen in much bigger ways. It's the story of I know most of you have seen The Lion King and know that beautiful metaphysical story about, little Simba being in the kingdom and having it all with a wonderful daddy and mommy and everything beautiful, and then all of a sudden The father dies, he loses his dad, he's thrown out of the kingdom, the evil forces take over, and he thinks that he doesn't have to do it, and he's too weak, he is not the king, he cannot take over and try to take over, can't do any of that. It goes down to weakness and fear, and it overcomes him. And then what has to happen within himself comes that drive, comes that urge that he is king. He is truly king of the forest, and that he can make it. All he has to do is go back, and he has to throw out all the evil forces. What are the evil forces? They're our own negative thinking. They're our own fears, and they're our own worry. Because worry creates more worry, and then we worry about the fact that we've worried, and then we get fearful because we've worried, and because we have all of this on our thinking, and then we learn science of mind, and we know that what we're thinking is creating what we don't want. And this is all true. And this is our journey. And this is our journey all of the time. So if we remember that Simba from the Lion King, if we remember that no matter what is happening, what is going on in your life, what battles that you are fighting, or what it is there to make you stronger, to become the great person that you're created to be. And you can be that great person into the world, into your world, or into your own individual world as you become an inventor or a creator. As long as you're living your heart's desire, as long as you're doing what you really love to do, as long as you feel connected and in love with living, with life, and that you can be that new person that falls in love with life, that goes around kissing trees and looking at flowers and finding your smile again and looking at that sunshine and just falling in love with life all of the time. And that's what life is about, ceaselessly, continually falling in love. If you're in a state of love, in a state of oneness with God, that's all you feel is love, 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 love. And fear cannot get in. Anyway, you're like the lion who finally found out he was a lion when he had been raised by sheep. Then finally another lion comes into the picture, and he looks at it, and that lion takes him to the lake and shows him the mirror, and he said, "You're a lion. You need to roar." And he learns to roar. So I say, each and every one of you, find your roar, and find it, and let it go, and express it, and don't let fear, worry, and all that stuff take over. And, okay, that's not what I was going to say, but that's what I did say.